Feeling the burnout, that is. Well, career burnout rates tend to increase during certain times of the year, particularly as we head into the holiday season. In fact, about 77% of workers experience burnout at some point. But there are vibrant strategies that you can discover to home in on your true potential and find success. Let's welcome Devika Brij, author of the new book, Thrive in Color. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, Layla.
So you founded the Bridge the Gap Consulting. So this helps people kind of find a new passion within their career. Why do people tend to start experiencing that burnout?
It can be a few things, it could be longevity at a company, or perhaps not getting the promotions or recognition or advancement that they feel that they deserve. It can also just be wanting to learn new skill sets and strengths that they're not really gaining access to in their current roles. So whether you're a new professional or somebody who's, close to retirement, feeling that across your career journey is quite normal. And so it's just a matter of implementing the right tools and strategies to help you feel engaged and that you're gaining the growth that you desire.
Yeah, and you work with a lot of really big companies, among them Visa, Meta, Nike. So really, really big, powerful, successful companies. And is there a common theme that you tend to hear from some of those employees, even though that they are working at such a high-profile job?
Yeah, look, I can't comment on, exact employees of exact companies, but I think across the board, even what I see on LinkedIn or people kind of sharing their challenges across social media, is that it's a time of uncertainty, right? When we think about the last several years of economic shifts and layoffs and even rapid changes in technology, many professionals are rethinking how they show up in their careers, mostly to remain engaged and remain, passionate about what they're doing, but also trying to create some safeguards and parameters to ensure that they have a job as, the landscape is shifting.
Yeah, perfect segue, because AI, artificial intelligence, is really coming into play, and it is taking away people's jobs. And the projection is that a lot of jobs are going to be obsolete, therefore making the employee obsolete. So how do you use AI as a tool to get ahead?
Yeah, so a lot of people fear AI will replace jobs. I'm not sure I buy into that quite yet. But the professionals who thrive in 2025, 2026, and beyond will be the ones who use AI to enhance their value. So I want you to think about AI as your personal research assistant. So it can help you draft your resume. It can help you refresh your LinkedIn profile, prepare for interviews, or even analyze industry trends or, specific information about the companies that you're interested in pursuing. And so, I want you to actually leverage it as something that is helpful versus harmful when it comes to your growth and development.
Well, what are some ways in which people can reinvigorate their profile?
Yeah, so LinkedIn is the #1 place recruiters and hiring managers go. In fact, here in the US, about 95% of recruiters are using LinkedIn to source candidates, right? That's a huge number. So that means if your profile is outdated, you're essentially invisible in today's job market. So you'll want to update your profile and ensure your contributions, your skill sets, and how you've helped each of the companies that you've worked for and even your current company help solve company goals, objectives, or even challenges. Yeah. You'll also want to scan your network for people who you can reconnect with, who may have connections into the roles and industries that you may be targeting as you think about your career reset. And then also don't underestimate recommendations.
And what about someone who just wants to change careers completely, that they want to pursue their passions or they want to find a new passion?
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing a lot of that lately, right? I think it's really important for you to take inventory of your skills and strengths that you've applied to your roles up to this time in your life, and then take a look at the job descriptions and requisitions for roles that pique your interest today. Most of the time, when you compare the job description of what you've historically done to where you want to go, there are these common bridges or common threads where you can actually leverage your previous experience and open doors into new industries or new roles that might not have felt so obvious. And so kind of going back to the AI conversation that we're having, if you just go on ChatGPT and you tell ChatGPT, hey, this is what I'm currently doing, and here's kind of the running list of what I've been able to accomplish to date, and here's the job requisition for where I would like to go. See what ChatGPT and AI comes up with. What are those common threads? Where are those commonalities that you might not have, really thought of before, but they are the actual examples that you can lean into as you're submitting resumes or, interviewing for roles or just having simple, conversational, exploratory chats through LinkedIn or through your general network of individuals you can tap into for information.
Advice. That's a fantastic idea. Well, I have a couple more questions for you, but we do need to take a break. So when we come back, we want to dive in a little bit into what if you start to doubt yourself. So we're going to do that in 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. We've been chatting with Devika Brij, author of the new book, Thrive in Color. And we've been discussing about how you can just bring more passion back into your career and also how to make those changes if it's just something that you want to do completely differently from what you've been doing maybe the last couple of decades and reinvent yourself. There are so many great ways, and you said to leverage AI to do so. I think that is just fantastic advice. But Devika, what about self-doubt? Because that is always part of it. There's always the fear of failing, of not being enough, of not knowing enough. How do you get past that hurdle?
Yeah, in the workplace, we call that imposter syndrome. And it is exactly what you explained, Layla, where you're feeling that self-doubt. Am I capable of being here? Will I be bought into by leaders and decision makers? What I can tell you is that that is a very natural emotion. That's a very natural fear that most people experience. And I have even experienced myself, working at companies that I never thought I would work at, or in roles I never thought I'd be able to obtain, or in seniority positions that, were not even in my line of sight. But I think it's really important to surround yourself with people who know you and who know your skills and strengths, and that can speak life into you and remind you of who you are, and that any company or any role would be so glad to have you. So think of those 2 to 3 trusted people who understand what you're about. Maybe it's a family member or a former peer, or maybe a mentor or a previous manager. But who are those individuals that you can just have a very transparent and safe conversation with, to say, hey, I'm going for this opportunity, but I'm feeling that imposter syndrome. I'm feeling like I'm not, I don't have the credibility for it. Yeah. So can you help me walk through that? And they will remind you of who you are and help you elevate your confidence as you pursue the opportunities you are absolutely worthy of.
Yeah, so you're talking a little bit of external motivation, but what about some of the internal motivation and maybe things that you can do to enrich yourself that makes you just a little bit more confident that you can grasp what it is that you're going for?
Absolutely. So one, I think knowledge is power. So lean into books, podcasts. There's so much great content out there regarding, how to actually step into your confidence and how to actually self-advocate, Thrive in Color being one, but, I have so many peers who have written tremendous books. So, dive in and gain that knowledge for yourself. But something really tactical that helped me in challenging seasons of my career was writing down, the truth of what I was actually fearful of, and then having it in a place that I saw every day. So for me, it was taking, those markers where you can write on the mirror and just saying, hey, you are capable of this. Hey, you've been working towards this. If you're having that coffee every morning without fail, put it next to your coffee machine, put it on your coffee table, wherever you will see it every day, to remind you, because there is so much science and data that shows us that we can actually reframe our thinking if we actually adopt truth and memorize those things versus letting that self-doubt creep in and take over your whole logic.
Yeah. A daily affirmation never hurt anybody, did it?
No.
Wonderful. Devika Brij, thank you so much for joining us. The book is Thrive in Color. You can find it where all fine books are sold. Again, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
We'll be back after this.